Hey you guys, Katie here, head coach at Reorigin. I just wanted to spend a couple minutes to talk about thought loops, namely unhelpful thought loops. So, if you ever find yourself responding to a stressful situation, whether that be a work situation, a situation with a friend or family member, or a stressful symptom or sensation that's going on in your body, and you find yourself responding with thought loop saying things like, I'm never going to get better. Why is this happening to me? I can't handle this. Those thought loops that are just really increasing the overwhelm, they're increasing the stress. Today, we're going to help you learn to identify and interrupt those thought loops. This is a very, very powerful practice, something that we use often in the Reorigin program. And the reason that it is so helpful to interrupt these unhelpful thought loops is because our thoughts can often create fight or flight. When we go into fight or flight, any sensations or symptoms or stress that we are experiencing will often become elevated. It's a very natural human response and body response to go into fight or flight at the sign of stress. That's absolutely normal and natural. But our thoughts can actually make that stress even worse and make it more challenging to come back down to baseline. So let's identify those negative thought loops, those unhelpful thought loops, and then let's interrupt them. So, like I was saying earlier, those thought loops could sound like anything, but really it's a thought that just isn't serving you. It's not serving the stressful situation that you're in. It's not serving the healing that you want to be focusing on. And ultimately, it's just making you feel worse. So, anytime that you're going about your day and there's a stimulus and you find yourself responding to it with an unhelpful thought loop, all you need to do is take a deep breath, pause for 1 second, and you can even visualize yourself taking that thought loop and it's like written on a piece of paper, and you crumple that paper up and just throw it in the trash. It's all you have to do. It doesn't need to be this big production or anything like that. It simply needs to be small enough that it cues your brain to pause, to interrupt, and to move that thought loop off to the side. And then you can continue to go about your day. Now, we totally understand that sometimes we can't identify the actual thought loop that's happening, and that's absolutely okay too. Then what you would do is you would simply, again, notice, maybe I'm feeling a little bit more stressed or more overwhelmed right now. So all I'm going to do is pause, take a deep breath, and then I'm going to move on with my day. If the thought loop continues to come back, even after you've paused it, you've thrown it in that trash, it's okay. Just continue to pause it, continue to shrink it down, continue to throw it in the trash. This is conditioning your brain to respond differently to that initial stimulus than you were responding before. And as we know, as Viktor Frankl says, in between stimulus and response, there's that space. So you are actively creating space in between the stimulus and the response. So each time you can teach yourself to choose a new response. That's how you're going to identify and interrupt any unhelpful thought loops moving forward.